Duolingo for the Bible? That's what I want to talk about today. But before we dive into this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a tutorial or upload. So welcome back to Faith in Focus. This is the companion podcast to the TSA Weekly podcast, but this one is designed specifically for my fellow Christian entrepreneurs. And over on TSA Weekly this week, I'm talking about the potential dangers of having too much tech, too much automation in your business. I had a couple of experiences this week that really got me thinking about that. And so I was like, you know what? That's a good topic for us to discuss, especially because it does kind of seem a little bit contradictory with what I normally talk about here, but I think it's a really important side of the conversation. So if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure you head over there and do that. Also, coincidentally, this week, I happened to hear about this Duolingo for the Bible thing. Same week that I was already going to talk about how you can have too much technology in your business. And I was like, yeah, that's a God thing. I should be talking about that this week on Faith and Focus. So that's what I want to talk about. So maybe you've heard about this app, maybe you haven't. I get the feeling that it's either relatively new or just still kind of small. It's called Ascend, and I'm going to have like a screen share showing thing so that you can see a little bit of what it is. I did not get the app. This is just their screenshots from their app store page. But I have thoughts. I have thoughts about this because I've used Duolingo in the past. I'm using it again right now just kind of for fun, doing some music stuff because as a singer, I love kind of keeping up with my musicianship a little bit. And I thought it would be fun. And I agree that sometimes gamification is a great way to stay motivated with things, especially as you're building new habits in your business and your life. I think gamification for some people is a great way to get that going and really just help you keep showing up as it's new, especially. But I have some thoughts about this in regards to the Bible. So again, like I said, I have not used this app, but I did look at it and I went to their Instagram to kind of like check them out a little bit. And I noticed a couple of things. First off, when you scroll down a ways in their Instagram, their like promotional stuff. First off, all their promotions are reels. I haven't seen anything but reels. And they had a bunch of, I'm assuming, small influencers that they paid to do these reels, but they're like cookie cutter reels that not one of them feels authentic in any way. They're all like sitting in their car, or in one case, there was someone in like a clothing store or something. And there's no talking. They're just like reacting in like a, oh, this is so amazing kind of way. And then there's like text on the screen saying like, oh my gosh, I just found this Duolingo for Bible app or whatever. It feels, especially seeing it like on their page like that, it feels so incredibly fake, which obviously it is. It was paid for, manufactured, whatever. But like at least let the influencers do their own thing with it so that it feels authentic, like they've actually interacted with your app and it's meant something to them. I didn't get any vibe of authenticity from that at all. And so that to me is like a huge red flag because that already tells me that whoever is putting this app out, I don't feel their connection to the content. And we're talking about the Bible, guys. We're talking about building your faith. And while, yeah, having a tool like that kind of helps to gamify it a little bit, helps you show up, but show up to what? Like, how much do you want to rely on content from something that feels so cold and impersonal in their marketing? Not to mention, I tried to look up the company that makes the app, and I couldn't find, like, I don't know if I found anything. Let's put it that way. I searched the name of it and everything. I tried to search like app developer, whatever. I wasn't getting a whole lot, but I found an LLC that could possibly be related. But when I searched that LLC and looked at it on Dun & Bradstreet, it was like a waste management company in Texas. So look, I'm not saying that somebody can't have two passions and own a waste management company and also build an app for, like helping people read the Bible, but like, there's a little bit of disconnect there, guys. It just didn't feel, I don't know, just something about it felt kind of weird. But even just taking that out of the equation, let's just talk about the concept of it in general. Forget about who the company is and what their philosophy or their theology is, which matters, guys. Let's start with that. It absolutely matters because it's not like they're just displaying the Bible for you. They are trying to help you digest and learn and study the Bible. And so then now you're potentially being influenced by somebody, by some entity that you don't even know what they stand for. You don't know what they believe. You don't know their mission statement. So that's like a little problematic. But just taking all of that out of the equation, I just want to look at it from like a practical standpoint. I think about my experience with the Duolingo app, trying to learn Spanish, having fun with it, working on music stuff and things like that. And yeah, it's fun. I do it on a relatively daily basis. And I go in there for a few minutes, but I don't feel any real connection with it, number one. Number two, it's very distracting having all of the other things that are happening, right? Like trying to stay on top of, your gems and, oh, you're in a friend quest with so and so. And so now you have to do certain things. And it's designed to make you stay on their app, especially because unless you upgrade, and this is true of Duolingo and Ascend and all of these tools, unless you upgrade, there are ads. Now, imagine that. Imagine you're sitting and you're doing your devotional and you're reading the Bible, and all of a sudden you have to wait for 30 seconds while an ad plays. I mean, look, I understand the company needs to make money. And so if you're not going to pay for premium, then, ads are their way of making money. But like, what is that doing for you as the person who is trying to connect with the Bible and get to know God better and deepen your faith? It's immediately taking you out of it. So look, I'm not saying all technology in related to Bible study is bad. I personally, like I've told you before, I use the First 5 app. That is an app, that is technology, that is on my phone. Doesn't mean that I never also pull out my Bible, but yeah, I'm reading it on my phone. I'm listening to it on the weekends on my phone. That is technology, but that is technology that is totally free, doesn't have any ads whatsoever, isn't gamified, and is just giving me a space to find that focus. And I do think that when technology is used in a purposeful way, it can enhance your Bible study time, especially like the way First 5 does it. And I know the Bible app has similar things. When you're reading through a devotional in the First 5 app, when they are referencing another book of the Bible or a different verse or whatever, they have a little link and you click on it and it doesn't even take you away from your devotional. Just a little pop-up comes up where you can read the reference they're talking about. Now, if it's a longer reference, there's like a read more, and then it does take you away and you have to kind of navigate back. And so that's not always ideal, but it gives you that ability to kind of just pop up, see, oh yeah, okay, that's what they're referring to. Yeah, I remember that context. Okay, and then you keep going with the devotional. I like that. I think that's a great way to use technology to enhance that devotional time and allow me to see connections from Old Testament and New Testament and all of that together. I love that. I think that's great. But looking at the screenshots that we saw on the Ascend app and how they have like questions that they ask you, like multiple choice questions and stuff, you're getting quizzed on what you just read. I mean, look, I can see how that's helpful on some levels because it kind of helps make sure you're comprehending what it is that you just read and all of that. But I don't know. I have feelings about this. I don't feel like this is a super effective way. I mean, maybe if you're just dipping your toe into devotional time and just trying to see, if that's something that you could build into your life, you don't really know where to start. And so having it have guided paths and stuff, I can see the benefit of that in a concept for someone who is new to the Bible. I don't think I would recommend it for people who have been Jesus followers for a long time, because even if you are struggling to kind of build that habit back into your life, I don't think that you need to use a gamification tool to do it. There are other ways that you can manage and use technology to help you build that habit without taking away from the actual time that you're spending with God. And not to mention the fact that, like, again, the fact that they don't have like their philosophies, their theology easy to find. I mean, maybe if you download the app, it'll be there and you can find it inside the app. But like, why isn't it on the landing page where you download the app? It should be all over the place because they should want you to know what they believe. You go to any church website and I guarantee you they're going to have a tab that says what we believe or something like that. And they're going to explain to you, what they believe, what their faith is. And if you're going to allow a tool like this, an app like this to guide your Bible study, then you absolutely, brand new or been in the Bible for a long time, you need to know the belief system of the person who is feeding you. So, okay, so this is just me, a little bit of a rant, but what do you think about this? Do you use any technology in your Bible study? Are you like, nope, I need to have my actual Bible and I do it on my own? Maybe you use a study Bible, but that's about as far as you go. Or maybe you're like me, you're kind of in between, where you're making the most of some technology to enhance your Bible study the way that I am. Or maybe you're like, hey, Duolingo for the Bible, sign me up. I'm not going to link it below. You can see it in the screenshots. You can go find it if you want to, but I'm not going to link it because personally, I'm not super excited about the idea of Duolingo for the Bible. I also think, isn't that a little bit weird that they're like using the brand name of Duolingo in their marketing? Because like, I don't think they can do that. I mean, I don't know if it's illegal, but it certainly feels a little icky, right? So like integrity issues? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but what do you guys think about this? Well, let me know in the comments. I hope this episode encouraged and inspired you. And if it did, please share it with another Christian business owner that could use the same encouragement. Thanks for being here. God bless you and your business. See you in the next episode.